Hello and welcome to my new experimental video series where I go over games that I am passionate about and break them into their basic components. This is something I've been wanting to do for at least 3 years, but I just haven't really done it until now. Hopefully this video is good fun and at least decently polished. This is like the episode 1 of my currently untitled video essay series, or C.U.V.E.S for short. Let's just go ahead and get into this. I'm gonna kill your ass.
I wanna kill your ass. Oh! I was so ready for that shit to fucking...
Bopl Battle is an incredibly fun game, and it essentially is perfect in what it's trying to do. I've been playing it fairly regularly for a few weeks now, and I've enjoyed it a lot each time. Despite the game repeating the same maps and abilities every few minutes, it still remains really fresh, so I want to dive into that and explain why I, and Gavin, find this game to be so fun. I was literally trying to record bland and unremarkable footage for the background, and no match was ever uninteresting at all, so that I just blurred everything, if that gives you any sense of perspective as to how I feel about this game. I discovered Bopl Battle the same way anyone might discover a lucky indie game, through YouTube Shorts. More specifically, my brother showed me some YouTube Shorts of the game, and he'd been playing it for a little bit at the point, and recommended that I might give it a shot. He showed me some clips from a developer that was explaining the abilities that he was adding, and I can't lie, I was skeptical at first. Seeing a developer making aspects of their game for content isn't necessarily new, and so this was just also not the kind of game that I play very often, so I was a little bit skeptical. I kind of absentmindedly said that I would consider checking it out, and found out that a few days later that he got it for me on my birthday. I just let it sit in my library for a little while, mainly because I had a hard time picking up multiplayer games. Either I'd get destroyed by my brother, who already knew all the quirks, or I'd get destroyed by randos for the same reasons. Eventually, I randomly caught sight of it again in the folders of games that I needed to check out, and decided to try it out. So, with it being only like $10, I thought the best solution was just to buy it for Gavin, as he hadn't heard about anything relating to the game earlier either. So I figured that since Gavin was a fan of fighting games like this, and both of us were always looking for good indie games, I thought it was a good game to introduce ourselves to. Going in with no idea what to expect, we set off. With the intro out of the way, hopefully I've painted a picture of how this game might appear to a passerby, and why I want to sway that mindset. When I picked up the game and played it with Gavin, I realized that it wasn't everything I had imagined it to be. And I think we were both discovering that it was incredibly intuitive and told you all of what you needed to know without giving any kind of tutorial, allowing for even new players to have a decent chance of winning. The first time I faced off with my brother, I was still only a couple hours in, but I was able to actually do really well despite our experiential imbalance. At first we were going with the most crude brute force strategies to win, using the most defensive abilities at first, and it just kind of worked. With us trying to figure out the movement and navigate arenas, it made it easy for us to get basic kills on each other while still learning the abilities and having fun. Now allow me to give the spotlight to Gavin for a moment to let him talk about his experiences with the game. Alright, now that he's done with his segment, we're gonna move on to my
Bitch, are you seriously just going to cut me up? You mentioned me in the intro, and then I've not been able to talk for the past 3 minutes because you could not babble about Bopl Battle. It would be us two, but I guess it was going to be a fucking... So I have played games that are pretty similar to this, like Stick Fight or Spider Heck. So when I first went into the game, I expected it to be pretty similar to those games. So both me and Ian tried the most aggressive strategies, because both of us played both Stick Fight and Spider Heck, and both of us were just trying to just be as aggressive as possible. I remember at one point I was saying like there should be like a sword swipe or a punch or something, you know, like in Stick Fight or like in like Rivals of Aether or something. And so I realized that's not the point of the game. The point of the game isn't just to beat somebody up with basic like guns or like jabs or whatever. No, it is how am I going to kill somebody with these wacky ass weapons.
I think at some point we realized the point of the game was to be creative, not just hit somebody with a stick or a bullet or a bomb, not directly anyways, and rather do some wacky shit, do an elaborate combo. And at first we were just thinking about hitting someone with an arrow, and then the mindset shifted to shooting a platform with an arrow so that it would move and crush somebody, or placing a mine in smoke, and then shooting the mine with the arrow to blow up the smoke and anyone in it. Even some abilities that aren't directly offensive have incredibly useful functionalities, like the Swapper. You may initially believe that it's just a teleporter to get you away from danger, but then you realize things like mines or grenades can be swapped, making your non-offensive ability into something very dangerous to someone who isn't paying enough attention. Eventually, through your creative thinking skills, a bizarre strategy can win even over a practiced, directly offensive strategy. There really is nothing more satisfying in this game than discovering a bizarre strategy for something like that. So take for example this clip where I discover a specific mechanic in the game relating to black holes. This is fucking dumb.
Do you like the image? What?
That is a laugh of pure joy, and almost every encounter in Bopl battle since then makes me want to laugh like that. It's just a lot of fun to, like, you know, go through these stupid things. And like the satisfaction of turning an enemy's seemingly unbreakable strategy up against them like that is something that you'll encounter pretty often, and it will never get old. I think that clip also does a good job at showing how the weapons play off each other really well, and it can be your weapon or your opponent's weapon that kind of helps you win the game easier. In that case, it's me using my opponent's weapon against them, but in some cases, and in a lot of cases, arguably, you'll find that you're trying to set up an effective way of your weapons playing off of each other. I am once again going to be giving Gavin the spotlight on this, and then I'll come back around a little bit later to tell you about my own thoughts.
We then found out that weapons combine with each other, and a lot of weapons affect what other weapons can do, even if it's in like small ways, such as smoke being flammable or just projectiles being bigger if you were bigger. This made there be way more creativity when it came to how you could kill somebody. In addition to how, like I said before, that there isn't any kind of jab or punch or sword swipe to immediately kill somebody, and anything that can actually hurt somebody, like the laser or the bow and arrow or the rocket, has some kind of charge up or makes you stationary or both, so that you're kind of a sitting duck and that you are completely vulnerable to other people. So because of this, you can't just be aggressive, you have to be creative on how you're going to attack somebody, and especially when you're playing with just randoms, that method changes a ton every single game. And even if you are just doing set loadouts and are not doing randoms, no game is ever alike because there's just so much stuff that can definitely change how you play.
On top of everything that Gavin mentioned, I would also like to kind of point out that the entire design of the game is pretty genius in the way that you can counter things. To start off, the fact that you can see everybody's abilities from the start of the game is pretty ingenious, because then you can kind of think about what they're going to do. So you're kind of planning two combos. Not only are you planning your own combo on how you're going to beat the other player, but you also have to consider how they're going to try to counter you by using theirs, or how they're just going to attack you using their own combo, which is kind of an interesting secondary line of thinking that you have to consider when you're playing. I'm gonna quickly now go over some of my favorite weapons in the game. To start off, I think the bow is probably the best weapon in the game overall. It fires pretty fast, it is really versatile, and it is really easy to understand. However, even the bow has a lot of counters. These can include wind gust, or rock, or block, or dash, or really just basic movement. And if used correctly, the bow is incredibly dangerous, but it is also perfectly balanced due to the sheer amount of ways that you can just counter it. So even though there's no guarantee that you'll have any one of these options, it's likely that you'll have something that you can do to avoid getting killed by the bow. As mentioned also, the rock is another directly harmful weapon, and it is one of the greatest risk to reward ratios in the game. On one hand, you're invulnerable to any attack aside from black holes that are out of bounds for around 5 seconds, giving you an instant way to avoid an attack, and in exchange you lose all control, and if you aren't in a good spot, you will die. If you run at somebody and become a rock, you will either instantly kill them or fall into the ocean. It's great. There are endless examples of how the game is balanced perfectly, intentionally or not. And nearly every ability has a direct trade-off that could be reduced by using other abilities creatively. This is to the point that you can exploit the uses of abilities by using a side effect of them to your advantage. And honestly, that is one of the strongest parts about this game in my opinion. It's the exploitation of every possible mechanic. Exploiting mechanics and memorizing attack cooldowns are not only possible, but practically encouraged by the game. It gives you full freedom to twist the arena to make the opponent's attacks useless. If someone removes the platform out from under you and you happen to have a bow or a ray gun or something like that, all you have to do is jump in the air before it disappears and then hold out the bow or ray gun up until the point where you attach back onto the platform when it comes back. One such example is when the developer was playing with his friend Jacob, and he used 3 air dashes to just stall the game up until the game went into sudden death and started dropping the platforms into the water. And instead of just nerfing the dash, instead the developer encouraged more creativity from his player base by finding an actual strategy to counteract that. The 3 dashes strategy was even added as an achievement, and I feel like this is a way where the developer can encourage more creativity and having some people do this 3 dash strategy so other people are forced to do more creative and interesting strategies to counteract it. However, I will say that there are some complaints that I do have, and there are some instances in the game where it is almost impossible to win, especially if you're playing randoms. Most of these complaints are pretty small and don't diminish the game in any way, but they would be really nice to see fixed. My main one is sometimes that the RNG system and the random selection can occasionally be really frustrating. I oftentimes will play only random abilities to experiment more, but sometimes I'll get something like 3 invisibilities or 3 meditations which can't be used meaningfully on their own. While the game's in quickly enough for this not to be annoying because you're stuck with them, it gives no opportunity for the player to do anything. Maybe something like a smart shuffle of abilities could be possible to prevent completely unfair circumstances. So if before the game it detects that you have 2 invisibilities or 2 meditations and it would normally give you 3, well, maybe instead it'll give you something that is directly offensive so that you can kind of use those more to your advantage instead of just basically having an almost useless set of abilities. Now, 2 abilities in particular kind of stand out as the least useful abilities, and they could use some serious buffs, these being the invisibility and the rock throw. The rock throw is made to be an offensive ability, but has very few uses that can actually lead to an actual kill. The trajectory of the rock is extremely awkward, and I can never seem to throw it exactly where I want to, and the slow speed doesn't do it any favors. The main use I could see for it is that it reduces platform size and is one of the only ways to completely erase a platform. All of that for the major drawbacks of a long grab animation and a much larger hitbox. I think if the rock went where I expected it to, that would already improve the ability. Also, if while you were holding the rock you could jump onto your rock by jumping before throwing, and also if your arms would somewhat slowly follow your cursor, making for a decent shield while not taking any of the aforementioned drawbacks away. Something to note is that the rock throw can't be used to kill somebody using time stop or anything like that, and it just moves them a little bit despite it looking like it should do something. If you're floating in the air and you throw a boulder at somebody, you should reasonably expect that they're going to die. At the very least, make somebody who's time stopping, who's hit by a boulder, stick to the boulder, because ray guns and bows and everything like that do actually have you stick to the boulder, but oddly enough, not time stop. As for the second ability that I talked about, the invisibility, it is nice and it can complement certain abilities really, really well. And one of my favorite strategies is the rock jump scare strategy. The problem arises when invisibility is the only available ability that you have. Sometimes the other abilities just can't really do a whole lot for you, and sometimes invisibility is really the only thing that you just have at your disposal at the time. Or maybe sometimes the RNG will just give you 3 invisibilities. It's happened to me several times before. Even mediocre abilities like the meditation thing has some kind of added benefit. For me, the meditation thing allows you to float in the air for basically as long as you want. So if you're in the middle of the air and you're trying to think or something like that, you can hold it down and do that. But with the invisibility, it doesn't really grant you any favors. It only grants you favors if you have something to use it with, but not if it's on its own. This makes the invisibility more or less just dead weight, especially if it's not in your middle slot, so it can't be changed out. And the fact that the invisibility still leaves you easily trackable with trails, I feel like there's something that could be done better on its own, or with more unusual abilities like making trails delayed so that your every movement isn't totally trackable, or making it so that you can walk up to somebody and make them invisible but unable to see where they are, similarly to kind of how the grapple hook works. Some more miscellaneous things that I would recommend being added to the game are some more customizable aspects of it, like changing arenas or drop rates or what is being dropped. A stage selector would be really nice if you want to experiment a little bit more. General customization of the game would really go to its benefit, and that is one thing that I will say Stick Fight does better, is that you can change what gets dropped, you can change how frequently it does get dropped, and everything like that. Being able to also create your own loadouts would be really nice, so that you could swap through them at random instead of having to change them between every single game. So if you wanted to experiment with different strategies, but kind of randomize them so you're not doing the same thing over and over again, would be really nice to have a randomization feature for. Well, that about wraps up my thoughts on Bopl Battle. Hopefully this video kind of illustrated some of the really masterful design principles that this game follows and even creates in certain ways. It has a bunch of completely unique combat scenarios with a bunch of incredibly interesting abilities, all of which tie together beautifully. And although I do have some kind of gripes with them, especially the rock throw and the invisibility, there's nothing that can't be fixed in future updates, or maybe I'll just have to figure out how to use them better. Who knows? On top of that, just the really well done visuals, sound, everything all done by one person is pretty impressive, and something I can't really say for a whole lot of games. And I would really love to see where this guy goes, whether he continues developing Bopl Battle or if he makes other games. Either way, I would love to see what he creates in the future. He has some really interesting ideas clearly, and he knows what he's doing when he's making games, so hats off to you. And I want to close out this video by talking about this experimental video series, as I mentioned, C.U.V.E.S, and just where I plan on going with it. This is just the first of hopefully many episodes. I already have a couple more episodes planned for specific games and everything like that, and this one is the first iteration kind of the series and of the editing style. In the future, I plan on probably using a different editing software, something like that, and also just putting more genuine patience and thought into it. This one I did have a lot of thought, but I felt like I could probably do more with it if I really put my mind to it, but I really, more than anything, just wanted to get this video out there. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with how this video turned out. I think I covered all of the things that I wanted to, and overall it kind of just turned out really well. So to everyone who made it to the very end, let me reward y'all by showing you a massive clip show of the best clips that I've gotten throughout my time playing Bopl Battle so far. These range for a couple of months, but I'm gonna pick out the absolute best, so here you go, enjoy.
Oh, nice. But you're an actual whole bitch. Well, guess what? I get to do funny shit now. Oh my god!
I killed myself, but I saved myself. All hamsters died because these motherfuckers die from anything.
Hi, Gavin.
Why did it give him so hard?
Fucking balls, ladies and gentlemen.
Parents left me alone, so I let my hamster free in my living room and ran straight into the fireplace.
And that's so bad, but like, it's so funny to think like.
Oh! I thought.
Therefore, I'm thinking. No.
Later, bitch. Hey, Sage. No. Hi, Sage. Look out.
I think I was good.
Do you like the image? What?
Hi, don't mind me. What the fuck? Wow, that was so fucking stupid. Why did you decide to bring me up the second you like left? That makes me want to just fucking.
I was just like, you know, that's so stupid.
Ah!
Jeff.
God damn it. You actually know the timer for the thing, and that's really annoying. So I'm gonna have to sentence you to immediate death by black hole.
No, I mean, Kiwi's wanna kill me. Oh, okay, just like sprint to my house.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Yes. Yes.
Hi, Iron. Wait, can I get eaten by you?
You're so small.
Mage. What? Sage, look what you've done to me! Sage, you ruined everything! Fuck you! No! Right. What are you gonna do? Stop me?
Yeah.
Ooh, yikes! We got the witch!
Oh man. Go somewhere. Oh man. Oh. Oh god.
Oh, that got rid of it.
Here you go.
Indiana Jones.
Please.
You almost did it again.
Oh my god. I pulled that out of my ass, dude.
Whoa!
Let go of me.
No! Luke has been hard focusing.
Yeah, I wonder.
It's almost like my strategy.
I was just gonna flex just to rock to block the thing.
No, boo. Fuck off.
I will carry on your legacy.
God, guys. Oh my god.
Second your arrow?
Oh.
It's all part of the elaborate arrow plan. I fucking ever, and I didn't get to use them. No! You're welcome, I guess?
No,
Well, because then you would have gotten pushed.
I'm sorry.
That was bullying. You know better than this. Stop spinning, bitch.
Bitch. Help.
Hi.
What is my name?
No.
Hey, Iron.
No,
Hey, I have
please.
a funny game for
Please.
you. You have fun, buddy. Fuck.
Did not mean to put it that way.
Oh,
Run away, Gavin. Run away. Run away, Gavin. Come on. I want to capture you. Well, that is about all that I have for y'all today. I really appreciate y'all for coming out, checking out this video. It was a blast to make. Again, expect any future videos to be a little bit more polished than this one, and the editing to just be better overall. I'm still trying to work on it and like stay consistent throughout the entire video, but hopefully it's a good showcase of what I want to be doing like consistently. All right, awesome. Thank you guys for coming out, and I'll see y'all in the next one.